NBA playoffs started. We're going to talk about it on Broken Plays. First off, Perry says that he has a theme song he wants y'all to hear. Jalen was against this. Hatham didn't say anything, but yo, Perry, the people want to hear what you got to spit. So spit your bars.
I need you to ask what genre do you want from me today? You know, like
Let's go 90s R&B.
say less. That's what I was thinking too.
Across the sidewalk, I see no waves. I'm on the podcast called Broken Plays. So tell me your thoughts. Because
Yo, why
I
does Curry look
will.
like an old ant at a barbecue, bro?
That's crazy.
Yo, NBA playoffs, man. Damn, got everyone feeling some kind of way. Boston Celtics, they played the Dallas Mavericks in game 1 of the NBA Finals. Boston won 107-89. 9 assists as a whole for the Dallas Mavericks, 9 blocks for the Celtics as a whole. That first quarter, the Celtics came out rolling. The second quarter, the Celtics ran away with it. Kristaps Porzingis played amazing. Talk about this. Hatham, what did you learn from game 1? I know it's just game 1. We still have more games to go. What did you learn from game 1, though?
Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka had the perfect game plan. For pick and rolls, they were trying to get Porzingis in it, but they would switch right before the pick and roll would come so that either Brown or White would be in that pick and roll with Drew Holiday. So the pick and roll was working in the last series because Minnesota didn't really have any switchable guards. They had bigs that would go out and then they would just roast them. It wasn't one-on-one, it was more pick and roll. Boston had versatile defenders. If I were the Mavericks, I might put Jason Tatum more in pick and rolls than Porzingis because they're trying to cover Porzingis. Defensively, they're just a really good unit. I think Kyrie was missing some shots. I think all of them were missing shots. Like at one point, it was just like really bad. Like people were just missing shots, and it felt like the rim was like, you know, when the rim is stiff and hasn't been broken into, and it's just like clanking everything.
I do agree with you on that point about like everyone missing shots. I found that like at one point of the game it was sloppy on, I would say, like both ends. Like at the beginning of that third quarter, right? Nothing was working for either team. Dallas showed some life. They were like coming back. But at the end of the day, you highlighted what I saw and what I wanted to talk about was the fact that Dallas couldn't get Lob City going. Those lobs, like you said, versus Minnesota, they were working really well. They were not working against Boston Celtics. I think Boston played exceptionally well defensively. Kristaps Porzingis coming in, I knew he would have an impact. I didn't think he would have that kind of impact. The guy came in like he didn't miss a step. You know what I'm saying? But we do gotta admit that Dallas did play like shit too. Besides Luka, no one really showed up to help out Luka. But even then, I don't know if yesterday's game that would have been enough to beat Boston because Boston was all the way locked in. Perry, what did you learn from game 1?
I think game 1 was really interesting because I'm not gonna lie, I have never seen a better first quarter than what Porzingis was doing. Like it was actually like at a certain point I started laughing. Because I ordered food, I sat down, I was like, this is gonna be a close game. And then Porzingis was playing like Will Smith in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like my man was doing everything. When he had first quarter, I actually just blinked hard. I said, there's no way this is real life. Like, there's no way this is real life. Like, it was the most wild thing I've seen, bro. Like, this guy was going for, like, a block, then he'd rebound it, he'd outlet, you know, trail 3, good. I was perplexed. I was just confused. However, like, as I saw how Dallas kind of chipped away at that lead and then lost, like, you know, the closeness of the game, I think this is a good matchup. I feel like every series is a new story, and I think Jason Kidd, I expect him to make adjustments. I don't expect the Dallas Mavericks to play as bad as they did yesterday. But all in all, like it was a very interesting watch. Like I love to see how Tatum played. Admittedly, like I didn't watch a lot of the Boston Celtics, but watching Jason Tatum play, like at a certain point, I was like, please just don't give him the ball. Like don't let him touch the ball because he is on fire. Like that entire team played so well. It looked like a 2K game.
Before I go to Jalen, I just want to touch on one point that I was telling Jalen last night when I was messaging him. Yo, Jason Tatum yesterday, when he got the ball, if he wasn't scoring, that driving kick was fucking deadly. You know what
That's
I
what
mean?
I'm
And I
saying.
know that's what you're alluding to.
Everybody made the
Yeah,
right
he
play.
always.
Like, it was him, Jalen Brown, Jalen Brown with the LeBron chase down blocks. Like, I was watching it, I was just so confused. Like, if I was a coach, if I was coaching against that, like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I'd be looking and I'd be laughing. There's nothing you can do. Like, all the players were firing on both ends. Um, Not one player had a bad game. At one point, they had like six threes, like no misses.
Thing that but the one thing that I want to say, and this is something that I told Jalen last night, is that even when Jason Tatum was kicking out, mans weren't hitting shots at one point. Imagine if they hit like half of those shots that they missed when Tatum was kicking it out. That game would have been an even more of a blowout. So I do agree with you, Perry. Everyone on that Celtics team like gets an A because everyone pitched in, everyone played well. So now, Jalen, turn the page over. We'll talk to you. This is your team. You said that they would win in 5. You said it's not going to be close. What did you learn from game 1? And I know you are very critical on people like saying that, oh, Boston's got this because you're like, it's game 1. Let's not overreact. You're still being logical, but what did you learn from this game?
I don't think Dallas played that poorly. I just think the Celtics were exponentially better. Like Perry alluded to, that first quarter from Porzingis was, if I'm not mistaken, it was historic. You know, the way he was shooting the ball, his his impact on the defensive end, his rebounding. Is that something that's sustainable for the Celtics to get that kind of output from him throughout the whole series? No. But what is sustainable is them getting that impact from other players. So what I alluded to before, earlier on in the series between Dallas and Oklahoma City, was I said, if y'all remember correctly, the key to beating the Dallas Mavericks is that you got to take away the others. So you got to let Kyrie and Luka go ISO. So you got to guard them one-on-one and live with whatever happens. And that's the exact formula that the Boston Celtics are employed. I think this is the one series in which drop coverage makes sense because although Kyrie is relatively comfortable with kind of any shot that he takes in any situation, I don't think Luke is comfortable shooting off the dribble downhill because they run that high pick and roll, damn near a step after the logo, and Luke is kind of running downhill, so he kind of has to step into it. It doesn't seem like it's a shot that is in a rhythm for him. However, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks played that poorly. I just think that defensively, the Celtics were just that much better. Al Horford played incredible defense. Even Sam Hauser was doing a good job defensively. And hate to mention something that I think gets lost a lot. It's an intricate part of the game, but a scheme that Ime Udoka employed was he did this with I forgot the person, Daniel Tice, when he was there. He kept him out of the pick and roll by just switching the guards. So it used to be like Marcus Smart and whoever the case may be, but instead of Daniel Tice coming to hard hedge or to switch, it would be another guard like Jaylen Brown who'd kind of switch off. Daniel Tice would stay back, and then you'd switch on to Jaylen Brown. And I think this works even better with this unit because now Al Horford is super comfortable guarding on the perimeter. Actually, not super comfortable, but he's a lot more comfortable than Daniel Tice was guarding on the perimeter. But as well, they have, a lot of guys that they can throw at Luka and throw at Kyrie. But one thing I want to mention is I've never seen such masterful defense played on Kyrie Irving than I did last night with Jrue Holiday. He had Kyrie in a straitjacket. And it's personally something I haven't seen in a long time. I think that whoever Jrue Holiday guarded, we know Jrue Holiday is a great defender, but to the point where Luka just didn't want to bring the basketball up. He just headmanned it, and once he crossed half, he got the ball back. Again, every shot that Kyrie took was tough. So I think for Boston to be successful, what is sustainable is their consistency defensively. Now, I'll finish on this. The last thing that I noticed about this game is that if you look at the box score, Derrick Jones Jr. wasn't in double figures. Daniel Gafford wasn't in double figures. PJ Washington was the only other that was in double figures. Obviously, Jalen Hardy got to double figures, but that was more towards the end when it was garbage time. There was nobody, they weren't playing for anything. So I think that that's going to be a very, very, very big key for the Boston Celtics to win this series. If they can keep Derrick Jones Jr. and Daniel Gafford not only off the glass, but out of double figures as well. I still think it's Boston in 5.
We'll have to see how this series plays out. Game 1 can't overreact, but that's what the guys think happened. That's what they learned from Game 1. We're gonna see what happens in Game 2, 3, 4, and how this series plays out. But it's far from over right now. Something that was brought to my attention this week. There's been a lot of Stephen Curry talk. Arena has said that he's not a generational talent. That raised my eyebrows. T-Mac says that he's not in his top 10 of all time. When you hear these two comments, looking at this man holding his championship, what do you make of that? Do you agree that he's not a generational talent, and do you agree that he's not top 10 of all time?
It depends how you define generational talent, and the reason why is like generational talent in the sense that nobody's going to be able to like shoot as well as he can at that clip. Like I do think we're going to find someone else. I think my issue with Gilbert Arenas' statement, because I went and I watched the interview, because obviously like clickbait, headlines, like I wanted to actually hear where he was coming from. And what he defined, or my understanding of his definition of generational talent, was like something you couldn't replicate. You know what I'm saying? Like if Jalen had a 40-inch vertical and could run like a 40, no, like for real, like, and he could run 60 meters in like 5 seconds, or sorry, like 4.5. Then at that point, like he's generational, because you're not gonna find like another Jalen doing that, if that makes sense. Like I know he used Zion Williamson was on his like fringe for like generational players, and LeBron James obviously, and I think Giannis. So I think he defined generational as more of a physical profile that couldn't be replicated rather than a game that couldn't be replicated. Do I think Steph Curry is generational in the sense where he revolutionized like the game of basketball, how defense is played, and he taught like he made shooting like a very dynamic threat on the court at all times? Yeah, I do think so. Do I think the impact he has and the way defenses are playing him is like do I see that happening again? I don't see that happening again. Like I see the game evolving where that could be contained, but I do think Steph Curry is like a generational talent. But I just think Kyrie is more generational.
Jalen, your boy.
Wait, what? What? Sorry?
I said what I said.
What was the last thing you said?
Yo, Eva.
You had to sneak in Kyrie, huh?
Eva.
Literally no one mentioned Kyrie.
Eva.
This is a different level of glazing.
Eva. You know what I need.
No one said anything about Kyrie. No one slandered Kyrie.
You see, I police on a real one. This is what I'm
Whenever Dylan watches Curry highlights.
I'm not having none of that. I'm not having any of that, bro. What do you have to say for yourself,
I tried to
Jalen?
ignore the Kyrie thing, but you got caught, bro. I was trying to save you. You got caught.
No, by who?
No, it's all good, bro.
There you go. You're sleeping on a real one, like I'm a pillow.
Jalen, we need you to wake up and answer the question. Stephen Curry, generational talent or not? Top 10 of all time. I know you're the most critical of Stephen Curry.
I agree wholeheartedly with the Gilbert Arenas based on his definition. I think Perry hit the nail on the head spot on it. It just depends on what you define as generational. So the way I see generational is something that you will never, ever see again. So somebody like Zion. So Zion's build, his size, his speed, his athletic ability, that's generational. LeBron is a generational talent. You're never going to get, someone with that, with the culmination of everything that LeBron has. You're never going to get that again. They've tried to get pin players and say they're, the second coming of LeBron with Ben Simmons, so on and so forth. But we've never seen LeBron since LeBron, and that's how I feel about Steph Curry. I don't think he's a generational talent. I think he's the most revolutionary player ever in terms of what he's done for the league and to revolutionize an entire league, the way they play and how they defend. And that being because of you, so how they run sets, what sets they run, so on and so forth. I think Steph Curry's at the top of that list, but generational, I don't think so, because we have Trae Young, Damian Lillard, all these guys. They're coming out of the league, and what are they doing? They're all shooting the three in high volumes, right? So it's something that can be emulated and something that can be repeated. So to me, I don't see Steph Curry as being a generational talent. In terms of having him top 10, listen, Perry and I both said this 2 years ago when he couldn't, when Steph couldn't drag that bum Warrior squad to the playoffs. Yeah, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, even Chris Paul dragged worse squads to the playoffs. I don't think Steph Curry is top 10 for me. Apart from the Boston finals, in which obviously he was fantastic in. I don't think that in the finals he's been the best player in the series ever, and that's obviously against Cleveland too. I don't even think he was the second best player, because I would have Kyrie in those Cleveland series over Steph Curry, and obviously LeBron's over Steph Curry. So to have Steph Curry in your top 10, you smoke the highest grade of crack cocaine. The other thing is that, to me, like, at the minimum, if you're that guy and to be in the top 10, the guys that I have in my top 10, I can trust to drag bad squads to the playoffs. And Steph Curry has shown on multiple occasions, when he doesn't have Clay, when he doesn't have Draymond, especially when he doesn't have Draymond, he's unable to do that. So I agree with both statements. I think both statements are factual, and I think both statements were eloquently supported when first said. The caveat that Gilbert Arenas gave, and I think Tracy McGrady further explaining, look, you can't drag that team to the playoffs. You're supposed to be generational. You're supposed to be in the same breath as LeBron and stuff like that. That's the biggest issue I have with Steph Curry and Steph Curry fans. We rarely bring to light Steph Curry's deficiencies because we're too enamored by his ability to shoot, which, don't get me wrong, is at an otherworldly level, but everything that he's deficient in and everything that he fails to do, we sweep under the rug. We don't give that same courtesy to other players, the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant's, the Kyrie Irvings, the Russell Westbrooks.
Yo, Hatham, how do you feel about the comments about generational talent and not in the top 10?
Yeah, I agree with both Perry and J-Lo. I think based off Gilbert Arenas' definition, there's only technically like 3 people that could be generational talent in the league, or like 4 people. Most of them could be bigs in that situation. So it's like one of those things where I don't get why Gilbert Arenas did it. It's like more, I think he should have generational basketball player. Like, as a basketball player, he is a generational basketball player. He's not a generational talent. You don't look at him and you're like, oh, he's talented. But as a basketball player, he is a generational, because no one's been able to like mimic what he's done, right? Before him winning championships, people didn't care about 3-point shooting. They didn't do all these other 3-point shooting. Like, people used to talk about like Charles Barkley and all of them, and been like, 3-point shooting can't win you championships. And then they won their first one. They're like, oh, okay, that's just a one-off because everyone was injured. And then their second one, when they got KD, they were shooting a lot of threes. So
Sorry, my apologies for interrupting. I just want you to clarify. You said he's not a generational talent, but he's a generational basketball player.
because a basketball player, you get skills, right? You get skills. You work on your craft as a basketball player. As a talented person, like, let's say for example, Katie's saying talent outworks, what is it?
Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Yeah. So my thing is, he worked hard on his craft and he became a generational basketball player. But as a generational talent, he didn't walk into the gym and was like, oh, like, you looked at him.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's not 6'8". He's not like built like 250 like LeBron. You know how LeBron walked in and it's like, oh, that's a generational talent.
Like, I get it. Like, that makes sense to me now. I agree.
And then for T-Mac's thing, I get where T-Mac's coming from, for the simple fact that he's watched more basketball than all of us. So, for example, like, I can't really appreciate like Allen Iverson the way he can. You know what I mean? So he has more players in his repertoire that he can be like, oh, this is my top 10. You know what I mean? Like, did I really watch Dr. J? You know what I mean? Like, I can't really say yes or nay. So I do agree with T-Mac, because like, if we go talk to Dr. J, he doesn't even have LeBron in his top 10.
Sorry, guest appearance here.
What does that mean?
Curry is top 10. Who's saying no? Perry?
Everybody.
There's been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. But right now, Caitlin Clark is averaging 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. She's shooting 30% from 3, 36% from the field, and there is a lot of talk about this woman. So I want to ask you guys, Jalen, you coach women's sports, so I'll start with you. Caitlin Clark's option or the way she's being treated around the league warranted? And players are calling her out, throwing some bodies at her. How do you feel about that as well?
It's funny because at first I did think that it was they were mistreating her and they were kind of fucking up their meal ticket, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But then I thought about it. Then I went back and did some research, and the things that they were saying about LeBron before he came in were sort of the exact same things that they're saying about Caitlin Clark. So if you remember, I think it was Diana Taurasi was asked, "Yo, do you think Caitlin Clark will be like good in the league or whatever the case may be?" And she kind of threw a shot at her and said, um, basically, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but like, she gonna find out. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she gonna get what's given to her. And if you remember, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were clearly tanking. They had Carlos Boozer. They had a bummy roster, and they were asked in an interview, "Oh, do you think LeBron will kind of turn the franchise around?" And I remember Carlos Boozer's answer was, "I don't think it's one guy. We're still NBA players, blah, blah, blah," basically hating on LeBron. And turns out that LeBron became, arguably the greatest of all time. He's in that conversation. So I don't really think that it's like maltreatment. Like they're hating on, kind of what she's doing because like she's great. Like she came in with a bag already. She's made more money in her career, in her college career. Actually, but she made more money last year than some of the WNBA players in their entire careers. Um, I think also there's a little bit of resentment, but like the game is like the WNBA has always been like this. Like at the end of the day, they hated Maya Moore when she came in. Candace Parker got chokeslammed by, I forget her name. She got chokeslammed in her rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna Stewart was talking about how she played the LA Sparks, and Neko Wumike and Candace Parker were bullying her. Like it's just part of the game. So I think it's blown out of proportion, mostly because we've never had covered a player to cover like this. I think, in my opinion, in the WNBA. But I think it's part and parcel of the game. Like you got to chalk it up to the game. Like at the end of the day, they're there to compete. They're there to try and win games. So to me, I don't really see it as like they're bullying her. I more see it as like it's your welcome to the league moment. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have that every game. You got a target on your back. You know what I mean? Like you came in with all these deals, came in with a bag. You got a target on your back. Let's chalk it up to the game.
No, I do agree with you on that front. Like I do think you're spot on with a lot of the things you said. It's like the welcome to the league, and you alluded to like other players who came in first overall and who have gotten their welcome to the league. Like that's the way it works when a new person comes into the league. And some players have alluded to that. It's like it's because her fans and the media have said that she's gonna come in and tear up the league right off the bat. And the NBA players, like you have alluded to, said that like, she's going to come in and get a wake-up call when she gets into the league. You know what I mean? And that's just the transition of the game. We've even talked about her game transitioning into the NBA, So she's doing well. She's playing well. She's got her bag. And, like, the thing that I love about all this, it's like it's put in the WNBA, like, in an even bigger spotlight. I think over the years, the coverage has gone up, and we can't forget that, right? But I think like now, like the conversation as a whole is huge. The only thing that I do feel bad for some of the players that when you're like Las Vegas and you're not playing Caitlin Clark for 2 weeks and you're at a press conference and then someone's asking you about Caitlin Clark, I can understand why that would be
The
frustrating.
frustration.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? I can understand why that would be frustrating. But I love
Especially for Asia Wilson because like she just came off a game where I think she had like 36, 11, and 5 or something like that. And then dude was like, "How do you feel about Caitlin Clark?" She's like, "Bro, like
I just dropped 36.
That's a historic stat line." You know what I mean? So
that's where I think that's on the media. That's on them to be better and like focus on the other storylines, because what could be done, and you also alluded to this, is like this is an opportunity for everyone else to cash in, everyone else to get their bag. The media could literally use this to just cover the teams and cover storylines that are not tailored around Caitlin Clark. And I think that like the WNBA is gonna go in an amazing direction. And even next year, we have more talent coming in with Paige Beckers and stuff. So like the league is in great hands. And then when it expands to Toronto, it's in great hands. So I think like the WNBA is going to be on this pedestal, and it's only good things to come. Haitham, I want to get your thoughts on this conversation.
I honestly don't get it. Like, why would you hurt your own bag? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the WNBA players are like, they're getting mad at her, but she's increasing the notoriety, sales. Like, what? I think her pre-sales, they had to move to like what, the football stadium or something, or the basketball stadium in Vegas. If you don't like, I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to piggyback off that, Haytham, but the games in which she doesn't play, the average attendance around the league is something like 9,000, and the games in which she does play, whichever city she plays in, is 17,000. That's a joke.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
so like, I know all these women keep complaining about how they're not getting paid as well as the NBA players, but now they have a generational talent that people can kind of watch and pay to watch. And all they're trying to do is basically hurt her. You know what I mean? They're trying to attack her. Angel Reese is like, oh, I'm also carrying the league. It's like, but your attendance aren't going up more compared to Caitlin Clark. So, like, who's really carrying the league? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those
But she
things.
said more before that, though. Like I get what she said more before that. So what she was saying was she's like, people tuned into the game because of our final last year. So, like, I'm a part of it, too. You know what I mean? Like, because they had beef.
Yeah. But it's
That's what
like,
she was saying.
yeah, I get what she was saying, but also even like, they were saying that they were getting harassed. Did you see the harassment video? It was basically some guy just asking them like, "Oh, why'd you do that to Caitlin Clark?" And it's like, not really, but like, I think they're just mad that a new face is coming in and taking over the league. But I don't think they realize that this new face gives them all more money in their pocket. So like, if you do, let's say you do injure her and she's out for the whole season, that's money out of your pocket. So I don't really get it.
Oh, you Perry, what are your thoughts?
I think greatness is misunderstood. I think this is like what she needs as a basketball player to get better. In every stage of our lives, like there's always going to be that chapter where we have a hurdle that's hard for us to overcome. I think this is it for her. You know, in Iowa, we didn't see her like really struggle, if that makes sense. I think in the WNBA, she's in an environment where like everybody's qualified to be there, and some people put up the same numbers she put up in uni. So now they're looking at the situation. They're like, but we did the same thing. Like we're just as good as you. Like, you know, like there's not that godly effect amongst players, and I don't think you can have that if you want to have a competitive league. So for them to go at her the way they're going at her, like I think it's the ultimate sign of respect. There's no competition if this doesn't exist, right? Like it happened at every level. Like there shouldn't be a problem at this level because it happened to Lonzo Ball. Like take that, it happened to Lonzo, and Lonzo wasn't even on this level. It happened to Lonzo because of a few ESPN interviews from his dad, but that made Lonzo a better basketball player. He got acclimated into the game, and that's just what's gonna happen. You get attention. People want to see like if you're really about that life. You know, like rappers who make songs violence when they get like confronted by someone who subscribed to that doctrine of life. It's a different level of respect that you get when you can stand your ground in those environments. Not that I promote the violence, like, but that's what's happening here. They're looking at her. They're saying, "Hey, listen, like, if you want to play with us, if you're really that good, prove it." And that's what's happening. Sometimes it gets physical, but that's the game of basketball. That's the game of life. You have to be able to kind of take in stride. You have to be able to look at these hurdles. And Kobe said it best: they only hit on the great ones. So this to me is the ultimate sign of greatness. Like she's on that path. There are expectations. She performed well in college. Now they want to see her do it at another level. Now they want to compete with her at that level. And I think this is the ultimate sign of respect.
We've been talking about best players in different positions. This week, we're going to be talking about the best power forwards in the league. And like I've been doing some research and just like reading like articles on this, and there's a lot of talk about the power forward is kind of a misunderstood position. So I found this on Google. It's from Fadeaway Sports. It has tiers of power forwards. And I wanted to have this up. Maybe you guys agree with who these power forwards are. Maybe you guys don't agree. You guys all have your list. But it's saying that Giannis, Tatum, and Kevin Durant are tier ones. Then you have a full list of tier 2s. And the ranking goes Kings, All-Stars, Exceptional, Role Players, and X Factors. So, Perry, who are your, let's go top 3. If you have a 5, go with your 5 power forwards in the league. And if you want to throw someone up there who you think is a power forward and is not listed as a power forward here, go ahead. Just explain to us why you believe that person's a power forward.
I love this question. I think I have Giannis, Tatum, and Durant. I think that top 3 is correct. I don't have Paul George as a power forward, so he's not in my top 5. Then I have Jay Will on OKC. And the last one's difficult, but Jaren Jackson Jr. That's my top 5. I have Giannis, Tatum, Durant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jalen Williams.
Hatham, your top 5.
My top 5 would be Jason Tatum, number 1. I would have KD, and then I would have Giannis, and then I would put Kawhi, because Kawhi does play the 4 a lot for the Clippers, so I'd put Kawhi at the 4, because I think PG plays the 3, right? I'm pretty sure PG plays the 3, and then Kawhi plays the 4, so I have Kawhi. The last one is kind of like a toss-up of who do you prefer. If I was going to go based off preference, I'd probably go Mobley. I like Mobley, so it would probably be Mobley or Towns, but I go Mobley just for defensive purposes.
And Jaylon.
I don't even care about this top 5 shit. I'm confused as to why Tobias Harris is on this list.
As exceptional.
Explain your confusion, please. Like, I need you to like.
He's legit. He's legit. Like,
I don't understand.
No word of a lie. No word of a lie. Perry, I think you and him have the same skill set.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, don't disrespect my boy, bro. Don't disrespect
What
my
are you trying
boy.
to say?
I think that Taken on multiple occasions in these playoffs for the Philadelphia 76ers, you've had the same offensive output, and you're at home.
No, let's say we, because we all had 0 points, not just me.
Perfect. So we all combined for the same amount of points.
But he is better than everyone below him, bro.
What?
No.
He is
I have PJ Washington.
I'm taking
above him.
PJ Washington.
I'm taking
Jonathan Kuminga.
Yes.
I'm taking John Collins. I'm taking
John Collins.
Hatsumura.
You mean and Son?
Bro,
Yo,
I don't even care about no top 5. The top 5 is like interchangeable. The top
Tobias
3,
Loki looks
without
like
question.
Tobias Loki looks like Eva, Tatum Orange.
And
Chat, tell me that Tatum does not look like Tobias Harris, bro.
I don't look like Tobias Harris.
Jaylon, give us your top 3, please.
Yeah, I think it's Giannis, Tatum, and Kevin Durant. I think Jaren Jackson's number 4, and I have Larry Markin at number 5. I love J-Dub, but he's 6'5". Like I have a tough time. Like,
Who'd you have as number 4?
Jaren Jackson.
Over your boy?
Who's my boy?
Banchero.
Paulo Banchero. Soon, inshallah.
You don't have for real? Wow.
In my top 5?
Bro, I think he's better than Jaren Jackson. Like, Jaren Jackson did nothing this year.
Well, he was injured, but like
What?
he's still defensive player. He was injured. But he's still defensive player of the year.
He played the whole year, bro. He wasn't injured. You just won.
Jaren Jackson was injured, bro.
No, he was playing.
Not this year.
He played like probably more than 50 games.
But it's harder for
everyone
bigs
on
to
the Grizzlies
operate without
injured?
like a point guard. It's like he had no point guard. Like his point guard was injured, like suspended and then
He
injured.
missed 22 games.
No,
Yeah, so
all
he played 55.
all his point guards were injured.
He played like
No,
I'm
I'm
sorry. He played 66 games,
that's a lot of games, bro. He would have been able to make first team.
in which he averaged 22.5, 5, and 3.
But he got the 3rd pick or 4th pick in the draft.
The rest of the lineup was G League players, fam. What do you want him to do?
I don't know. I'm just saying. These are your top 5. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Okay, but okay, so name 3 other players in that starting lineup for the Memphis Grizzlies.
He had Bane. Bane played, I think, 50 games this year, or something like that, or maybe 40 games. He had Vincent. Vincent was good.
Who?
He's a rookie. He was really good as a rookie.
Vince Williams from the G
Yeah.
League, yes.
Yeah. Smart. I think
Desmond Bain played 42 games.
Yeah, but how much wins did they get? If they played 42 games, they should get at least 30 wins. No, like they had Jaw for 3 weeks. They had Desmond Bain. They had Marcus Smart. I'm just saying they should have at least got like the 10th seed.
Yo, do we agree with Hatem here, or is this a mistake?
I don't agree. Yo, this team was
Ever?
trash. Like
Hatem missing, please.
a video. Okay.
Hatem, this is how accurate I think your take was.
Shit.
Bro, honestly, I just don't think he's top 5. That's just my opinion.
And we saw
Yo,
your
Hater,
shot.
you're not gonna address the video the man just exposed?
We were in COVID. We were locked up. Did you see my hair? I think that's the first thing you should ask me. What was I going through?
I have a video of you in braids, bro. We're not talking about your hair, fam. I have a video of you in braids the week before. Yo, honestly, Bino, ever Bino shot, please.
What?
What do you mean, what?
You got footage of Bean.
How the hell did you get? I
It's
didn't
not
even
about
know you
that.
went. Yo,
It's not
Yo.
about that. It's not about that.
yo,
It's not about that.
yo.
We can leave that there for the rest of the podcast.
The podcast done. The podcast done. We'll be back next week. The podcast done. Thank you for tuning into Broken Play.
Before we ended, who's your top 5, bro? Do you have Julius Randle in there?
No, I agree with this top 3 right here. The Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Giannis. Like what I see from Banchero. I really do like what I see from him. I do think Lauri Markkanen is playing really well. That would be my top 5. That's it for Broken Plays. You know, once Perry exposes that picture of me, I can't even remember when that was taken. I don't know how Perry got that photo, but yo, don't worry, I'm coming back with some heat. Don't worry. Tune in next
Shout out
week
to
on
Anna.
Broken Plays.